Hey, it's Z, and as you can see, this video is yet another Nars All Day Luminous foundation review. Some of you all may be bogged down about it, but whatever. This is going to be my little 2 cents, my take on the foundation, because I actually feel very indifferent about it. Most reviews I've seen, and I've seen about 50 of them just like you guys have, they have been either I love it or a few have very few have just said I hate it. But me, I am dead set in the middle, and I just want to give you all my take and why I believe so. And also it's because people have been asking me what foundation I have been wearing when I actually have been wearing the foundation. I haven't worn it a whole lot, so this is, you know, my review slash informational, whatever you guys want to call it. So Nars All Day Luminous, and it is actually weightless foundation, and my color is Cadaz. You can actually purchase this foundation at any retail store that sells Nars cosmetics. I got mine from Sephora, and it was about $50 with tax. And when I was there, I was actually debating between the Anastasia Beverly Hills contour kit and the foundation, and me being the foundation lover that I am, I went ahead and got the foundation. And the associate that helped me, she put it on. She used like 2 or 3 pumps, and she put it on. She actually put it on very sheer. And looking at it at first and walking out the store, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to love this foundation. And when I was watching the reviews, nobody actually said that it was a dewy foundation until a few days later when I watched somebody else's, and they were like, this is a dewy foundation. And I was like, oh yeah. Anywho, back to the day when I first got it. So that day when I went to Sephora, I didn't have on any makeup or anything. All I had was moisturizer from, because I had basically just washed and moisturized my face a few hours before. And like after an hour, I was like, oh my gosh. I rubbed my face and I was like, oh crap, I forgot that I have on foundation. And I kind of rubbed some of it off, but I was like, oh, lightweight, that's that lightweight kicking in. But by the end of the day, I looked in the mirror, and you know how something looks like when it dries up? Like, have y'all seen like those soap commercials where it has, where they, I think it's like Dove, where they do the soap and it like dries up on the piece of paper or whatever? That is what my foundation looked like. It had come to all my dry spots, and it was just looking bad. It wasn't looking greasy or anything because I had such a light layer, but it was just looking really bad. And I was like, ooh, let me take this back now. But the next day I decided to give it a second chance, and I wore it to work. That is where I test all of my makeup, because if it can last through work, it can last through anything. If it can last through retail, it can definitely last through anything. So I didn't use primer that day, so I did it again. Actually did full coverage. No, I didn't. Kind of sheer to medium coverage. And like a few hours later, it was just really greasy, and I was like, oh my god, what is happening to me? And that was right before I found out it was a dewy foundation. And because I don't even carry face powder in my purse anymore, because I never need it. I haven't needed face powder in years, so I just took it out of my purse altogether. So I was going in the bathroom, like blotting my face, and I was like, oh my god, this is so terrible, so terrible. And I went home and I immediately washed it off. Like, I touched my face, it was all on my hands, had gotten on my shirt, and it seemed really messy to be foundation. So I tried it again a few days later, but then I tried it because the first day it was seeping into my pores as well. After a few hours it had seeped in my pores and it was just looking, it looked really bad. So I tried a few days later with primer and it didn't seep in my pores this time, but it did get really dewy. So after I picked up on, you know, how it works and how it works on my skin, I realized if you have oily skin like me, you have to set this foundation with powder. Set everything with powder. Do like now I'm using my MAC Pro Longwear concealer for my highlight, but that's it. I contoured with powder. I set my highlight with Ben Nye powder, and I went back and set it again with my Anastasia Beverly Hills contour kit powder as well. And it's actually looking really nice right now. So if you have, it can work if you have oily skin, but you have to use powder. So that's that. It is actually very lightweight. Like that part, yes, it is very lightweight. You won't feel it at all. It doesn't feel heavy. You'll probably have to put like 12 layers on before you start to actually feel it on your face. And it's actually water based. Like you would not guess that this foundation that's so watery, like you can actually hear it. If y'all can hear it. You wouldn't guess that would be full coverage at all, because you know, you see most full coverage foundations, they're very creamy. Like the Kat Von D is like very creamy, but this one is not, and that's what makes it very lightweight. It's also very buildable. I used about 6 pumps when I was doing my face today. So like and you know, I just do on my cheek, chin, there, and that was it. I actually had a little bit left over, and this is full coverage. I don't have any concealer on, trying to hide anything, nothing like that. Cons: if you have oily skin, it will be very greasy if you do not set it with powder. If you are not a powder person and you have oily skin, this is not the foundation for you. Throughout the day, especially with it getting hot, it's going to be like extra greasy, and that is pretty much my only con, to be honest. I know I had listed that it will set on your dry spots and it will show your pores, but that can be easily eliminated by just moisturizing your skin and using face primer before your foundation. So that really isn't a con in my eyes, but I said it just because if that matters to anybody else, you know. So yeah, that is my take on my Nars All Day Luminous lightweight foundation. I have a love-hate relationship for this stuff. I pretty much have a foundation for every type of thing that I'm doing. I have a foundation for work. I have a foundation for going out to parties. I have a foundation for date nights. I have a just regular foundation that I use when I'm kind of... So this is my date night foundation because I know I'm not going to be out in constant heat. Most of the time it's at night, so it'll be cool. So I really don't have to worry about getting greasy. It won't be on all day for the most part because my boyfriend doesn't get off of work till 10. Most of the time I'm only wearing it from like 10 till 2, so that's like 4 hours. Doesn't really give it time to get it all greasy and all that other stuff. So that's it. That is my little 2 cents on the Nars All Day Luminous lightweight foundation. be sure to be looking out for other foundation reviews and also makeup tutorials. I do have my brow routine that is going to be uploaded very soon, and also one of my foundation routines, so be looking out. Bye guys.